Good morning. Here is your weather right now. We have 2 impact days back to back, and for good reason. There is a lot going on, and I'm going to break it all down for you right now. So today from 5 to 8 o'clock, we have a quick hit of light showers. That is moving through as we speak. Then as we go into the afternoon, we have flurries and mixed showers. Now this is not going to accumulate, but it may be enough where it could reduce visibility. Thursday, we have a burst of heavy wet snow, which is fast enough falling out of the atmosphere where it will likely overcome the warm ground and accumulate. And at this point, this is our first accumulating snow of the season, 1 to 3 inches possible. And then noon to 5, we will flip tomorrow from that cold, wet, heavy snow to a very cold rain with slick spots and wind. So overall, the next 48 hours, very, very active. Here's that first little batch of that very thin line of light rain that's moving through, just now getting into western Waukesha County. I don't expect this to impact you in a big way. A live look outside. Don't think we're getting any warmer than this, because we are only going to see highs today in those mid and upper 40s. This is basically where we're sitting at for the day. 45 degrees right now at Cathedral Square Park there. Love the view of all the holiday lights. And in Franklin, we're starting off the day at 43 degrees. So the next 5 hours, the winds are going to pick up. We get that little hit of light rain, and then we're done for the morning. The afternoon, that's when things start to pick back up with these flurries to late day snow showers. But the timing of this is during that evening rush, where it could make things a little bit dicey, especially with that wind and reduced visibility. Tomorrow, it is a 1-2 punch. It is a burst of heavy wet snow followed by cold rain and wind. So tomorrow is just overall not a very pleasant day. Then we go into the weekend. We maintain that cold air in the mid 40s, and then we will also stay pretty cloudy. Here's Futurecast. So what I want you to pay attention to right here, backside of that upper level system. Here are some of those snow showers. See the time? Here's 3 o'clock. Likely, I would say the longest this is going to last is about 8, 9 o'clock. And then watch right here, that upper low just continues to rotate over the Great Lakes. You see all this moisture coming in? Watch this. Right there. We are cold enough for long enough that we have this burst of heavy wet snow that's going to be falling likely during that morning rush. And you can see there is also some rain on the backside. The lake is warm enough to make that rain. So it is very, very close as to what we get. But I do think, and we think here at Weather Watch 12, that this is going to fall fast enough to keep the atmosphere cold to allow this to accumulate with that 1 to 3 inches. That's happening from 6 to noon as that continues to plunge south. Then we warm up enough where that will then flip to a cold rain, and then we have that wind. So overall, not a pleasant day at all. The good news is for holiday lights, you can see the precip is done. The wind is still going to be with us, so it will be a cold and windy one, so make sure that you do bundle up. Recap what to expect. Today, colder and windy, mid-morning sprinkles, evening flurries. Tomorrow, the wet snow showers, messy morning rush, followed by the cold rain and the wind. This is our first accumulating snow of the season, kind of blanketing everybody with a 1 to 3 inch heavy wet snow. Keep this in mind. So this is kind of the timing. We get the heavy wet snow tomorrow between about 7 and noon, and then it flips to a cold rain. The whole time we have northwesterly winds gusting up to 40. The slippery times right there. You see that happening during that morning rush, likely lingering until that lunch hour. So this is what you need to know as you're planning out your day tomorrow. Not a pleasant day by any means, but things will get much better as we go into the evening. So that's just the next 48 hours. After that, we can breathe a sigh of relief. Cold and windy on Friday. I think some of the winds on Friday could gust up to 35 miles an hour. So that 44 will likely feel like the 30s through the day. So if you were hoping for some winter weather, you got it.
Break out the beanies. They may need a little dusting off.
Right?
Thanks, Lindsay.
A very complicated forecast with 2 chances of snow, one happening this evening and the other one most likely going into your Thursday morning. So this is kind of what's going on. It's Wednesday and Thursday, so today and tomorrow. The worst conditions that we're going to have is going to be tomorrow morning. Now remember, the road temperatures are warm, so at first this snow on Thursday, it's going to fall and it will likely melt, but it's falling at such a rate that it's going to overcome that warm ground. So eventually it will start to pile up. It'll be very windy Milwaukee with gusts over 35 miles an hour. And yes, it is the first snow of the season. We're calling for 1 to 3 inches of this heavy, wet snow. And I know that's not a lot when you think about it. We're hardy Wisconsinites, but it's the first one. First one's always kind of a doozy, right? So I want to highlight these rain and snow chances. Now, this morning we've already had the rain. That rain has already pushed east. So we're done with this part, so we can cross that one out. Next up is going to be some flurries leading into this afternoon and evening. With the wind that I'm tracking, this is going to make the visibility a little bit reduced, especially for that evening rush. Then a whole other part of the system arrives Thursday morning with a ton more moisture. That is the one you want to watch out for between 6 a.m. and noon. Then we have rain, cold rain. It turns into cold rain as temperatures warm up on the backside. So a lot going on over the next 24 to 36 hours. So here's a look at the radar. There's that little bit of rain that I was talking about for early this morning. Look at the difference in wind chills this morning. 40s right now in Sheboygan and Milwaukee, but it feels like 30 in Waukesha, 36 in Oconomowoc with overcast skies. That's a live look at Milwaukee. It is dry right now. That rain that we had really wasn't much. There may be a little bit of drizzle here and there, but I don't expect much for the rest of the daytime hours. Then we're going to see those flurries pick up heading into this afternoon and evening. I would say between 3 and 9 p.m. Overnight, we clear up briefly before snow just kicks right back in, and it is a heavy burst of snow on Thursday morning that transitions to a cold rain. Then we dry up, but we are definitely colder than how we've been lately, guys. No more of these temperatures near 60. We are talking highs just in the 40s. Futurecast picking up on this beautifully. First little bit of rain moving on out. Flurries coming in. Here's 3 o'clock. These could even be all-out snow showers. I do not anticipate this to accumulate because I said before, the roads are really very warm, and this is going to be flying around with the wind. So I don't anticipate a big impact out of this besides the reduced visibility. That moves out. Pay attention up here. This is where the next batch is coming from with a very heavy wet snow, and you see how much darker that blue is. That showcases the intensity, and it's intense enough at the time of day where we're getting to work in the morning where I do think this is going to accumulate. Then it turns into a cold rain with gusty winds up to even 45 miles an hour going into your Thursday. And then we're done for at least this weekend. So here's the impacts. Wind for both days, for today and tomorrow, that's going to be an issue. Snow, this is for Thursday. It's not a lot of snow. It's just the first one of the season. The roads are likely going to be dicey during this point, and also visibility will be reduced because of those fast winds. What time is this going to arrive at your house? This is for Thursday morning. 4 to 5 a.m., Sheboygan, Fond du Lac, Elkhart Lake. Then it gets through Port Washington, Hartford between 5 and 6. Continues to push down, I would say, Milwaukee between 6 and 7 o'clock. And then Wheatland, Burlington, Delavan, Lake Geneva, Kenosha, Sturtevant. You guys are going to see this between 7 and 8 o'clock, moving from north to south. 1 to 3 inches of our first accumulation of snow, which is why the whole area for Thursday between 6 and noon is under a winter weather advisory. And I have been looking ahead at Thanksgiving. We are looking at another active week next week, so don't worry. We will keep you posted as we get closer. But we have a whole big system that we're tracking first. We'll get through that. The weekend looks dry leading into the week of Thanksgiving. We do have some more rain and snow chances as we are a little cooler than average.
All right, be weather aware. Thanks, Lindsey.